All right, I'm going to explain a few things why it's crucial, it's essential to have an x-ray, especially when you go to the chiropractor. Many people don't take x-rays, and we do in our office. We have digital x-rays to get very precise on what we're looking at, what we're seeing. So I want you to look. This is one example of the neck, and you can see how this neck, this is my neck, how it has a big curve in the neck, a big bend in the neck. And that's important. Every child from about a year up should have this, so that the bend should be there to supply healing from the brain. So the brain sits here, it sends messages through the spinal cord, through these nerves, and if the spine shifts out of place like that, it puts pressure on the brainstem, spinal cord, nerve system, and that shuts off life to your body. If that life down your arms, then your arms go numb. If that's life going to your heart dies. If it goes to your lungs, you get asthma like my wife had. So when we look at an neck, and the only way you can ever tell if this has a curve in it or if it doesn't, I'll show you a few, is through an x-ray. You can't guess at it. And if you're getting adjusted, or if you're seeing a therapist or a medical doctor who's never taken an x-ray and you have problems, you need an x-ray to tell you, what's going on there, how specific. So what can happen is the spine can lose the curve. See how there's no curve in there? It's straightened out. When that straightens out from maybe a car accident or being birth trauma, C-section births is very common, sport injuries, things like that, straighten out the neck. Well, that puts pressure on the brainstem and the spinal cord. That creates sickness and disease. Eventually it will cause neck pain, but it doesn't cause neck pain right away. It will eventually cause carpal tunnel pain and numbness. And the majority of people, I just read a medical report that said the majority of people who have carpal tunnel problems have a hypothyroid, a thyroid problem. Thyroid disease is the fastest growing disease in America right now. Our posture, because we work on computers, is compressing the very nerves that go to your thyroid. That's not coincidence. You choke off a nerve to the thyroid dies. The hands die, and so forth. So you need an x-ray. If that doesn't get fixed, and that's there, the second phase of that is arthritis. So you can see this joint here. It should look, the disc separates the bone, because the disc acts as a big shock absorber. And imagine if your shocks wore out and it was pounding, bang, 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 bang. Your shocks would wear out. That's what happens to the disc. The arthritis sets in, and the disc just shrinks away. And what your doctor will say is, you have arthritis in your neck, or degenerative disc disease, or degenerative joint disease. The reason you have degeneration is because there's a misalignment, there's a subluxation in your neck, putting pressure there and grinding it out. If your car was out of alignment and you kept driving it, the tires are going to wear out. So you have to get it realigned, put it back in position. And if that doesn't get stopped, phase 3 is when the joints completely mold together and there's no movement at all. These are the people you can't turn your neck. Your lifeline is being shut off. You are dying rapidly, 6 to 10 times faster than normal. Your body's aging. You have low fatigue. Your shoulders hurt. Your muscles hurt. Your arms don't work. You have no grip strength. You can't see, hear. Your sinuses, your immune system, everything's shutting down. And you go to the doctor, and what do they put you on? They put you on more pills. They put you on a pill for this, a pill for that. Every disease they can name, they'll put you on a pill. And the more pills they have, the more toxic you become. And they're not fixing the cause. They're not fixing the cause. That's the cause of your life shutting down in your body. And you have to regain that. Unfortunately, when you get to that stage, there's not a lot we can do. But if I'm sitting adjusting a person like this, compared to this, my adjustments are completely different. My rehab and what I'm telling a patient to do in the office, out of the office, completely different. I'll never know that unless I have an x-ray. If I don't have an x-ray, I won't see what's going on. This girl came in, and she had acid reflux. Acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, and gastritis. So many people have this. She was in 8th grade when she was diagnosed with this and put on medication. So we took her x-ray. Look at her x-ray. No curve in that neck. There's no bend in that neck. Her head's forward. Well, she was going to lose her insurance coverage for her medicine. It was going to cost her around $6,000 to pay for her medication. She couldn't afford that. She was 23 years old. But if she takes the medication and it covers up the sickness in her stomach, did it get rid of the disease? Did it cure her body? It never will, and it never does. It makes her feel better, makes her feel like she can get through the day, but she's left with the disease, she's left with the irritable bowel gastritis and acid reflux, burning a hole in her, but the drugs keep her feeling good, so she continues, and it would cost $6,000. So when we saw this, we knew that that was her problem. So as we adjusted her and did corrective care, put her doing rehab in our office, it's correction, and the things that she was responsible to do at home was to help put this bend back in. When the curve got reestablished, the pressure off the nerves going to her stomach started to heal again. Healing power. All of a sudden her stomach started to digest better. Within a couple months she was offered medication and she stayed off it. And it's almost going on 2 years, she's never taken a drug again. So how I adjust and what I need to tell her to do is based on the x-ray. When I saw this, I knew that that was her problem and was causing that. Here's a little boy. When he came in, his mother had been to every doctor in Pittsburgh. They were at alternative doctors, they were at chiropractors, they were at medical doctors, they were nutritionists. Everyone they could get out to see, they were. Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars because their little boy Colton, at 2.5 years old, was diagnosed to die within about 2 years. They were struggling to keep him alive. He had a distended belly. He wasn't digesting food. So they tried to put good nutrition in, but he couldn't digest it. He was allergic to everything. He wouldn't sleep at night. Luann had to actually hold him on her chest because at night, because his skin was so irritated, he would scratch it, and he would be a bloody mess in the morning. See, he wore socks on his hands. They called them sock puppets. He wore long sleeve shirts, long sleeve pants. Every day, this is what they went through, trying to keep him healing and alive. Well, the straw that broke the camel's back, they went to Johns Hopkins and saw Patricia Kane, one of the leading specialists in the world on detox and you know, this nutrition thing. So they left there saying they don't know why he's not digesting food, they don't know why he's so sick and what his problem is, but they gave him steroids and pills and said, well, try this and just pray that he digests food, because if he doesn't digest, he's not nourished, he's going to die within 2 years. He already was developing bone tumors, and his kidneys were shutting down. So based on the blood work and the testing, they knew that he had about 2 years to live. So they said, you know, go home. And he basically went home to die, and they didn't know what to do. Well, we do workshops in the community, and we did a workshop in their community. They heard about us and they came in. So when they came in, what we wanted to see is how was his lifeline? He was pulled out at birth. Was his neck damaged? Was it traumatized? How did that look? Because if that's traumatized, his whole body is shut down. Here's his neck. It should have a big curve in it, like this. There's no curve. He was pulled out at birth and his head got locked in this position, straight as an arrow, jutting forward, squeezing his lifeline. So his brain couldn't get its nutrition down to the body. It couldn't get to the nerve energy down to his body to heal and function. We saw that. We knew that was part of the problem. That could be the very problem why he's so sick. So we started adjusting him. And our exercises in rehab and what they had to do at home was based on this x-ray. So had I not had this x-ray, and that's what, nobody had an x-ray of him. Nobody x-rayed him. All his doctors and chiropractors, nobody took an x-ray. We were the first to take an x-ray. So after a few months, he starts getting a curve back in his neck. As he gets that curve back in, the pressure comes off, his body heals. And it took about 4 months for his body to heal, but he healed. And to this day, he's a healthy 3rd grader. He's 8 years old. He has amazing health. He never gets sick. And he's okay. But based on the x-ray, that's why you need an x-ray. That's why your kids may need an x-ray, to see if there's scoliosis. Don't base it on what the nurses say at school. It's impossible to tell scoliosis based on that. So you need an x-ray to see that. That's why we x-ray the neck. Colton just said the other day, he came in this week and he had a headache. And he must have been fighting some viral thing. So Colton comes in and he goes, oh, you're going to adjust me again. And I said, what do you want me to do, Colton? Adjust you or pull your teeth? I said, I'm not a dentist, so lay down, let me adjust you. Okay, he's so funny. So he lays down, I check his neck, and his neck was out of alignment. I give him this little adjustment. They're so gentle and so easy. And he goes, okay, you know. He gets up and he leaves. Well, that night in his prayers, you know, he was praying, and his mom sat down with him to pray before bed, and he said, "Thank you, God, for Grandma and Mommy," and he said, "Thank you for Dr. Tressler. I'm glad that he can help adjust me and relieve my headache." And when Luann, the mother, told me that, it just kind of touched my heart. And I thought, you know, how many children out there are not only that sick as Colton, but are living day to day with headaches, or living day to day with stomach problems and taking medication and going to bed with a headache and waking up with a headache and knowing that they're going to have a headache that night, or sick that day, or have bronchitis and be put on antibiotics. It breaks our heart, because we know that we can help. We know that we can help these children and these families and help you understand how to get well and stay well. But it takes a game plan, and we help you with that. And I love little Colton. We love our kids here, and we see them have vibrant, healthy lives off medication and living extreme healthy lives. And as a parent, I'm a parent of 5. I know it hurts when my children are hurt and sick, but I know they get through it very quick, and they don't need anything. And praise God for that. So if we can help you anyway, always contact our office. And if your children haven't been adjusted or checked, or if they're going to a chiropractor, they've never had an x-ray, ask your doctor to x-ray them. See if their spine is straight or crooked. See if it's healthy or not. Because if it's unhealthy now, if they're 8, it's going to be wore out by their 30. It's going to be full of arthritis. So it needs to be checked now.